Once upon a time, there was a kind-hearted magician who brought laughter and joy wherever he went with his traveling theater. Every Sunday afternoon he would set up in the central square of a new village and ring his 7-metal bell. Tolon, Tolon. Tillin, Tillin. Come, children and adults, show's about to begin. Everyone without exception would gather around him to listen, to have fun and to learn from his astonishing performances. Letters and legends, bolts and bubbles, flames and flowers would unceasingly flow from his top hat and his gloves, dazzling the audience. Countless dawns and twilights passed, until one day the good magician began to feel lonely. Very lonely. Then he had a grand idea. He decided to create other characters to join him in his work. He spent days and nights building the most amazing puppet theater, with velvet curtains, multicolored mountains, crystalline oceans, laughing sleigh bells and sparkling lanterns. Once the scenery was ready, he began to design the characters that would come to life from his hand. The first puppet was made for his thumb. A warrior dressed in a golden gown. His destiny was to become a strong and fair king, protector of his people. He granted him the spirit of fire and called him Sunni.
Ominá, Ominí, Sunni, the king, you shall be,
he commanded. And Sunni awoke happy to his duties. Then, using a bright orange dye, he created Hermie, an amusing and witty minstrel for his little finger. Your poems and your music will sing the joys and sorrows of people when they cannot find the words to express them, he instructed.
Ominá, Ominí, Hermie, the minstrel, you shall be,
he commanded. And Hermie awoke happy to his duties. Kylie, the rosy-cheeked potter for the ring finger, was his next creation. Your hands will shape pots out of earth in which you will serve the healthiest and most heartwarming food to all your guests, he instructed.
Ominá, Ominí, Kylie, the potter, you shall be,
he commanded. And Kylie awoke happy to her duties. For his middle finger, Siti, the medicine woman, was created with the power of the blue spirit. You shall master patience to understand the forces of nature and dedication to apply them when others are in need, he instructed.
Ominá, Ominí, you shall comfort, you shall heal, and Siti, the medicine woman, you shall be,
he commanded. And Siti awoke happy to her duties. The last puppet was created for his index finger, made of the brightest green cloth. He named him Feni and bestowed upon him wisdom and awareness. You shall guide your group through knowledge and novel ideas. You shall teach them to reason, to understand and to learn, he instructed.
Ominá, Ominí, teaching by example, Feni, the master, you shall be,
he commanded. And Feni awoke happy to his duties. The good magician's joy could not be contained in his heart. After so many days of strenuous work, his creation was finally coming to life. How much happiness the adventures of these new characters would bring to his audience. Wasting no time, he hurried to the next village square, unfolded his miraculous theater and rang his 7-metal bell to the 4 winds. Tolon, Tolon. Tillin, Tillin. Come, children and adults, show's about to begin. And little by little, everyone, without distinction, gathered around expectantly. The glossy curtain slowly opened and there they were, the finger puppets, the good magician's latest creation. What an amazing show it was! There was music, dancing, pirouettes and colors. The righteous king protected his people with his flaming sword. Beautiful Kylie cooked the most nutritious dishes in her clay pots to feed the hungry. Wise Siti embraced the needy and healed them with herbs and ointments. Inspired Hermie played his lute and sang with smiles and tears to the moon and the sun. While enlightened Feni shared his vision and knowledge so that no one would remain in ignorance. Bravo! Bravo to the puppet theater! The crowd cheered enthusiastically. Their applause echoed throughout the square. The puppets, proud of their job, bowed their thanks to the audience. As the public left the square, the delighted magician made his way back home with a satisfied smile on his face. Once there, he fell asleep exhausted. It was during their creator's deep sleep that the puppets unwittingly got into trouble. Looking at beautiful Siti from afar, King Sunni began to sigh. So understanding and compassionate she was, healing everyone with her loving light. He wanted to win her heart and make her his queen, but this twist in the story had not yet been written into any puppet script. So he decided to go to Feni, the master. He, with his wisdom, would know how to help him reach the gorgeous medicine woman's thoughts and make her accept his proposal. In the name of His Majesty King Sunni, Feni announced to her, "I come to ask for your hand so you will be his queen forever." "But, Feni," Siti replied worried, "I don't think I could ever love the king in that way. He is a strong, brave warrior of great authority, but my heart belongs to Hermie. His poetry goes straight to my soul, and his songs lull my dreams to sleep. He is the one I want to be with at all times." Concerned, the master decided to visit Hermie and find out if this was his heart's desire as well. On the way, he met Kylie, who was busy concentrating in front of her cauldron. "Good afternoon, Kylie," he greeted her. "What delicious recipe are you preparing today?" "Good afternoon, Feni," she replied. "I am making a special meal ready for my king. I want it to be the most exquisite dish he has ever tasted. I love him so much." The master was speechless with surprise. "I am sure that with these delicacies I will win his heart, and he will make me his wife. I will be so proud to be queen to such a strong and brave soldier." "But do you know if he will reciprocate?" he interrupted. "I have heard that he wants to propose to Siti." The good-natured smile that had been Kylie's trademark suddenly disappeared from her blushing face. "That is not true," she protested. "Get out of here and stop bothering me with your gossip and lies." Then the master walked on to where Hermie was standing with his lute and quill, singing to the stars that were beginning to shine. "How are you today, Hermie?" he asked. "What beautiful verses you are composing today." As beautiful as the person who inspires them in me, he replied with a hopeful smile. I can only write when I think of sweet Kylie, he sighed. The master could not believe his ears. But Kylie has already confessed that she only has eyes for King Sunny, he explained. Don't be so cruel. You can't speak of what you don't know. She'd never love someone like him. What a terrible mess, thought Fenny to himself. I must run back and explain all these complications to the king. But how difficult his task would be. You lie, shouted the king. You love Siti and that's why you want to take her away from me. Your Majesty, you are mistaken. I only... Get out of here, roared the king, furious as a lion. I will avenge your betrayal. Fenny wanted to move away until the king had calmed down, but it was impossible. Everyone else was already coming to confront him with their frustrations. This situation had so enraged the monarch that he lashed out with his sword, and the others, in turn, began to defend themselves by hurting each other mercilessly.
Ow!
What a pain! Cried the king every time he wounded someone with his sword. How can it hurt me so much when I'm attacking someone else? Kylie's stomach churned every time she put rancid food in someone else's mouth.
Ouch!
Siti suffered in loneliness every time she withheld her help from others.
Oops.
Hermes' ears ached every time his verses cursed someone.
How could that be?
Master Fenny thought to himself. They started by losing control over others, and now they end up shedding their own power. Suddenly, the good magician awoke with a start. How much pain and discomfort was there in his poor hand?
What are you doing? Have you lost your mind?
He reproached his puppets.
Look how my hand is bleeding. We can't perform like this.
It was then that the master understood why each puppet was suffering pain as their own even when they were hurting others. Although each one looked like a separate finger, they all were, in fact, the hand of the same puppeteer. So it is, my dear ones, the good magician nodded affectionately. What we give to others, shall we all receive. If we look closely, we will see that we are all one. Why not spread then joy, love and understanding? Embarrassed and pained, the puppets finally realized that it was always best to understand their differences and come together for the good of all. And so it was that when the puppeteer's hand finally healed, the 7-metal bell could be heard once again. Tollon, Tollon. Tillin, Tillin. Today, puppet theater. Show's about to begin.